Players wanting to get spooky tokens will need to have completed the quest Field of Screams, which is very easy, and I will be putting a link down in the description if you are free to play, mainly as most skilling outfits are very hard to get that you do need a spooky costume for. Now, after you have completed the quest, you have gained access to the Harvest Hollow, which includes grave robbery, summoning, conjures, and spirits, along with digging up some graveyards for extra loot. And then we do have a corn maze type of theme. However, it will be a boss. But don't worry, skillers are able to do this since it does not give any combat experience of any kind. And it's pretty fun, although it's kind of hard if players are not using the high contrast mode, they're not using the skybox and game filters, or the colorblind settings, because you're able to customize it so you're able to have a little bit more access and ease to doing it, as the maze can be somewhat overwhelming if it is your very first time. Now, there is one thing to note, and while you are scaling within here, the XP does scale to your level, and at once, you can only have a maximum of 150,000 spooky tokens at once. You will get this message once, and then if you keep handing in items to get the spooky tokens, it will not let you get another message. So do remember that you can only have at one time 150,000 spooky tokens at once, and then you're able to go to the shop, and then you're able to just skill again for those rewards. First off, on how to actually get here, players will need to look for the lodestone teleport icon, which can be found at the mini map, and then you're able to just click on the Harvest Hollow. Or if you don't have access to that, let's say you have mobile and it's kind of hard to see that picture, you're able to go to the community tab, and then you want to click the very first icon where it says info and rewards. And one last thing, that this event will be running from the 14th of October to November 4th. So you want to teleport to event, and it will bring you right here. Afterwards, we'll be doing the Maize Maze event first, which is just found northeast. And for this one, you'll want to add a lot of daily and double tokens, in which case when you're here, you'll be teleported in a maze that is much like the Sorcerer's Garden. The goal is to find 10 zombie implings, not ghost implings. It has to be zombie implings, as these are the only ones worth it to damage the boss. And then once you have all 10 pretty much, you want to make your way to the very middle of the arena, where players will be able to somewhat find the boss in the middle, and you will be having a life points health bar that once a monster does see you, it should see a little highlight like here. You will get damaged 10 out of 100 health that you do have. Now, this is very safe. In fact, once you do run out of health, technically, it will just respawn you at the same spot that you were, and you will want to go for 10 bone clubs, which is just 10 zombie implings. Afterwards, you'll be able to freely attack the boss. You can camp him completely, as you're able to just bypass all the mechanics, and you will not die as long as you have 50 health or more. And then afterwards, you will get a reward token. Depending on if it's your first time, you'll get some extra benefit and loots. Now, as for the rewards, you'll be getting these little loot bags. The basic one is extremely common, and then the prestigious one, which you will want to go for, does give you the Baby Osseous skin token. Next week it will be changing to Solak, and then the week after that it will be Araxor. As for the token rates per hour, you can expect to get between 19,200 up to about 23,000 points for spooky tokens. If you get very used to this, although it's very crazy at times, but I do highly suggest players to learn this, as it is the very fastest way to get the spooky tokens. Next up will be conjuring summons, which you do get summoning experience for. This will be the very first one. So from here, you just want to go west and then north. You should see an NPC called Sneezy, and you want to zoom in a lot, and you will notice that there is 4 candles. You want to make sure all of them are lit, and then do the summoning circle that's in the middle. Now, randomly, every minute and 45 seconds, 1 candle will go out. If all 4 candles are lit at once, it will take on average 3 minutes for a ritual to be completed, which does give you 400 spooky tokens. And then if you do this consistently, you're able to get 8,000 spooky tokens an hour. Players are able to AFK this for 3 minutes at a time. Afterwards, light the 1 or 2 candles that were gone while you AFK for 3 minutes, and then you'll be fine. Now, you are actually able to AFK a full 15 minutes, but the candles will all go out, and you'll be hardly doing any rituals at all. And then for the XP rates per hour, granted this is at 99 summoning, you're able to get 31,000 summoning experience per hour, which, I mean, is pretty bad considering you have to be level 99 to even get those rates. And then that's it pretty much. Just make sure to AFK every 3 minutes and then light the 1 or 2 candles. Now, we will be doing the archaeology spot, which is just west, and we'll be getting the mystery remains. There will be an NPC that might be hard to click on, and that will be Eep. In fact, if you do examine him, you will say that he counts sheep and he collects artifacts. This is pretty much the archaeology portion of it, where, again, if you are 99 archaeology, you'll get 90,000 archaeology experience. I do not know if this actually scales up to 120 instead of 99. So your XP rates might differ if you're just 99, as in this case I was 120 at the moment. This one is fairly AFK. You have 2 minutes until you get an artifact, in which case you get a pop-up, but players are able to just put a book on the spacebar, which will automatically cancel that pop-up, and then you're able to AFK. In fact, that is how I do this for 15 minutes at a time. And this is very good for ancient remains. This is the best way to get them, and you'll be getting 30 ancient remains on average, along with 29 artifacts, which the artifacts you are able to hand in to Eep for the collection for 7,500 tokens per hour. But the ancient remains that you are getting, you're able to right click them and identify them. Then for this one, you want to go to the Bounty of Bones, in which case you're able to get an additional 1,000 spooky tokens, and the per experience does scale up to 99, although players are only able to do this, I believe, 9 or 10 times, and then you will no longer get the prayer experience. Then you just want to contribute all of them, and the fact that you're getting so many of these ancient remains, it does bring your spooky tokens average from 7,500 to 12,500 spooky tokens an hour, which is the second best. Now, next up will be the thieving portion, in which case it's pretty much right here, and you have 2 options. You can loot the coffin, which is right here. There is another coffin south, and then to the west there will be 2 mausoleums. They change every 2 minutes, and we'll only be getting 2 items from this, and that will be the ancient valuables and the ancient heirlooms. This is pretty RNG, as the ancient heirlooms give the most amount of spooky tokens when you do hand them into the NPC Peckish, who is found right here by the well. And then a little fun fact, if you do examine this fountain, it appears that Def, nope, he's not peeing in the little fountain, which is pretty nice since he's just using his little jar. And then again, it's 2 minutes of AFK, and then it will move to a different hotspot. So you may need to pay quite more attention compared to the archaeology spot. We're able to just AFK the whole time. This does average about 7,800 tokens per hour maximum. Some hours I was getting about 7,500 just because of the heirlooms. And for those, you want to right click and hand to Peckish, in which case you will get spooky tokens. Now, lastly, on how to actually use the spooky tokens, you want to go to the general area again, and then just east of you, you should see an NPC. You want to trade him, and I highly suggest players to not buy the Horseman's uniform token yet. That is because while you are skilling in here, you'll be more likely to get the clan Confections, which does have a chance to get this item. So you'll be effectively wasting 50,000 tokens. And then pretty much just buy anything that you are missing, which at the time I did need about 700,000 tokens, which was extremely annoying to do. But because you're able to AFK this, it's pretty nice and relaxing. As for those kind of Confections that you may be getting, you want to go west and right click off and then hand in the clan Confections. It will give you a 1-to-1 rate, in which case you're able to look at the items that he does give you, and that includes the ensouled pumpkin mask, the pumpkin beret override token, and then you have some cosmetics along with titles and more tokens. And then you pretty much just want to open them, and hopefully you do get that 1 billion GP ensouled head. With that, thank you all so much for watching the best ways to get the spooky tokens, which would have to be the Maize Maze, then the archaeology, then the summoning, and then the thieving. The summoning would technically be the worst if you were to AFK it the whole time, and thieving is pretty bad since you're only able to AFK 2 minutes at a time.